Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the best growth mindset podcast recognized by Million Podcasts and ranked as a top mindset podcast by FeedSpot. We're proud to be in the top 1% on Listen Notes. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte as we explore powerful insights and strategies to elevate your mindset. Let's dive in.
All right, lean in. Because today's episode is not about hustle culture, grind culture, or forcing yourself into systems that were never built for your brain. This conversation is about resilience, reinvention, and what happens when life knocks you flat on your face. And instead of staying there, you build something unstoppable. My guest today is Brit Nicole, known as the Unstoppable SheEO. And trust me, that title was earned, not branded. She is a serial entrepreneur who sold product as a kid at recess. My type of girl. I did the same thing. Yes, really, she did. Built and sold a digital signage company in her 20s, rebuilt a six-figure photography brand after leaving an abusive marriage with nothing, and later survived two life-altering events that would have ended most people: a domestic violence situation that ended up in suicide, and a massive internal betrayal, an employee stealing from her business, nearly bankrupting it and forcing her into federal court. And instead of breaking, you know what she did? She built the Unstoppable SheEO, a movement and business model designed for women with ADHD brains, trauma brains, foggy brains, creative brains, real brains. This conversation for women who's tired of forcing herself into boxes. We are getting right into it. And I must welcome you, Brit Nicole. Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments. I'm so glad you're here. We're ready to talk about it because so many women talk about all these types of brains, and I'm ready for this conversation. So tell us in your own words who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
I mean, I don't really have much to fill in. That was incredible. My most favorite part that you said was this title was earned, and I'm like, dang straight it was. 100%. Snap,
Yes,
snap, right over here.
yes.
That was for sure
What do
earned.
they do now? They do a tap, tap, tap. I'm so old school. I love it. You've lived so many entrepreneurial lifetimes. So let's hear it. Tell us about you in your own words. I know you could tell us something more.
Yeah, that is definitely me to a T. I have always been that person that if I'm going to be spending time doing something, it's not going to be working for somebody else and building their dream. It is going to be working for me, building my dream, my legacy, so that I can teach my kids. You don't have to go to college to get a degree just to waste it if that's not what you want to do. If you
Right.
want to be an entrepreneur, you can go out there and do that. You can do these things with the passions that are in your heart. And nobody's going to tell you no, because I'm living proof that no matter what happens to you, pick yourself back up, keep on trucking. But
Keep on
you are
trucking.
correct. In my early 20s, I, girl, let me tell you, I really don't think that my frontal lobe developed until my 30s. But
That is funny. I want to hear why because I have questions about mine as well. Listen.
I think scientists have it wrong. I think they're like, it's not 27 or 25, it's definitely 32. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Now it makes
But
sense. Yeah.
but in my early 20s, I dated this rebound, and where I kind of live in Texas, it's like, hey, if you're not married by the age of 18 and have children, what are you doing with your life?
What are
And
you doing with
so,
your life? Right. No matter
yeah,
how
what
smart you
what?
are.
And I was like,
Exactly.
okay, I guess I'll marry this guy. My parents were like, girl, you don't need to do that. And I was like, bro, listen, you don't know him the way that I know him. I'm over here gaslighting myself for some reason to justify it.
So funny.
And I married the dude. I got an incredible honeymoon out of it, but that's about it. So we
Oh my
came back,
goodness.
and it was actually, it sucked. Not even gonna lie. I wasn't allowed to have a job. And at that
Yeah.
point, I was trying to build a photography business because I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I was meant to work for myself. I just didn't know in what capacity.
Right.
Um, and I love art. I love photography. I love creating things and making people feel like emotion from something that I'm able to
Feel it.
create.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I wasn't allowed to have a job. I wasn't allowed to have friends or family over. Oddly enough, I mean, this was back in 2009, 2010 era.
Got
And
it.
podcasts weren't really like that big of a thing at this
Right,
point.
not at all, yeah.
And I'm over here like, I do listen to true crime podcasts, but when I'm listening to some of them now and thinking back about that past life of mine of being married to this
You
guy,
would have been on True Crime.
listen, wait for this. I wasn't allowed in the garage. It was deadbolted. Okay. I wasn't allowed
What?
in the garage. It was deadbolt.
Anything could have been happening there.
Literally wasn't allowed around it, wasn't allowed to touch it, wasn't allowed to anything with it. And again, in my younger 20s, I'm just like, well, this dude's psycho. Like I kind of already know that, but my brain isn't going to those places like my brain goes to now.
Now, yeah, you were just like, "Yeah, he's psycho, but oh,
Yeah,
whatever."
but,
Yes.
but he definitely had some issues, obviously. But
My God.
one of the nights that really just kind of tripped me up was I am an old lady. I love to be in bed at like 9:30. Please, for the love, let me
I
sleep
don't even
more than
like to
4
be
hours.
outside all day. I wanna be
Okay?
inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Please let me sleep. And
Yes.
I didn't want to do dishes at 10 p.m. and he got really freaking mad. So mad.
Whoa, he
So
flipped
mad,
out.
in fact, that he threw me up against the wall and started choking me. And he said, "Where is your God now?" And there were multiple times throughout that led up to this where, again, my brain just wasn't like, trigger
This is
Brittany.
not
Like, I,
safe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There were multiple times that led up to that, like, especially with him, like, cleaning his gun and saying, like, "How funny would it be if this went off?" or whatever. But when he was choking me, it was just like something happened in my brain. Probably could have been the lack of oxygen, I don't know. But it was just like, what am I doing with my life? Really, honestly,
Right.
like, what am I doing?
Whoa.
Why am I choosing to stay in this position?
Mm.
Like, this is all my choice.
Mhm.
It is literally all my choice. What am I doing? Because the life that I imagined, the life that I knew that God wanted for me, I knew wasn't that. But why was I choosing to stay? Like, I don't know why. So,
Mm.
actually, no, I do know why. I didn't, it was embarrassing to admit that you did something that you probably shouldn't have, that, you're not supposed to get divorced or whatever, just opening the door to other people to realize what is actually happening indoors.
Yeah.
And so the next day when he left to work, I actually packed up most of my stuff and grabbed my husky and I left. I went back to the house that I had before.
Mm.
During that time, again, when I go back and watch like the true crime stuff, there are some that I truly I cannot watch. I have to turn off. And even though he's long gone in the ground right now, there are times where
Okay.
I will go to bed and I will be freaked out at thinking that he's outside of my window. And my husband now, which by the way, an incredible man. I love
Oh,
this
I'm
dude.
sure. Thank you,
He's all
Lord.
he comes in and he's like, "You're safe. Like you don't have to worry about this
That's
guy anymore." And this is
perfect.
over 14 years ago at this point.
Yeah, but your
But
body keeps
anyways,
score. Yeah.
yes. But there were times where he was watching and there was nothing the police could do about it because it was on public property. He was parked in a parking lot. And I
Wow.
I felt it. I felt it within my soul. This is going to turn into one of those murder suicide type things. I really did feel
You knew.
this. I didn't want to go get a job at this point because I was kind of afraid to leave my house and coming back not knowing, is he going to be in my closet? Is he going to be waiting? Like what's going to
Right.
happen?
Yeah.
So I dove in to heal myself, dove into who is Brittany without somebody telling me who I should
Should
be,
be,
what I
right.
should be, all of these things. And what does God want for me? Who am I
Mhm.
to him?
Mhm.
How can I get there? I'm doing all this healing inner work and really just deep diving. And God straight up was just like, hey, pick up these books. You can be an entrepreneur. You can make your own money. You can
You've
make your
already
own way.
been one. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Selling
go ahead.
any as a kid, that's entrepreneurship 101.
No, yeah. I sold sliced, those potato peelers?
Yes.
I got those like big pickles and I would peel the potato or the pickles and put them in like baggies and sell them.
Perfect. And now look, they're selling them in jars. How about that?
Hey, hey, there you go. Could have been me. But
Yes, exactly.
but yeah, so I dove into this and I I remember hearing Tony Robbins so vividly at this point in my life.
Mhm.
This was 2010, 2011, somewhere around that point. He always people, all these gurus always say like, if you find a problem, get the solution. You can be an entrepreneur to build your stuff. And I'm like, oh, sweet.
That's exactly what you needed. Permission granted.
Literally all I needed. Like, photographers can't make that much money. I'm going to go try and find something. And so here in Amarillo, we didn't have digital media at this time. So with this
Mm,
wild hair up my butt, my squirrel brain was just like, I need to go learn this. And so I booked a flight to New York without knowing anyone there, without setting appointments for people.
that's
I
on.
walked into digital media businesses and I asked to sit with the owners. I asked them, how do you do it? What do you do? Give me all of the information. I live in Texas, not like I can steal this from you. I mean, come on, it's New York. Calm your ego
Right.
down.
Yes.
So came back to Texas and I went and got out a loan. My dad helped co-sign it for me at that time. And my butt went everywhere, putting up these digital TV. I had ads going. I had digital menus going. But I learned quickly.
Mm,
I was going through my midlife crisis at 25 at this point, and
had to drop early.
I had a crotch rocket, and that's what I would arrive to with my high heels tied down on the back of my crotch rocket, going to these meetings for my digital media business. But I learned quickly that, well, back then, I feel like, I don't know, maybe things have changed, but being a female, I wasn't taken seriously. And so I had to build a team of male sellers
To
to
get
build
your
the
word
digital
out.
media part of it. And so
Yeah.
that's exactly what I did. I started building, 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 and I scaled this thing, but I hated it. I hated everything about it. I hated
Because
how
it didn't you weren't there. You were invisible in it. And it wasn't about the visibility, it's about your voice was silencing, so to speak. It's not about being seen in the front. I feel like I can hear it. The digression of your actual presence and what you who you are wasn't there. Yeah.
no, it wasn't, and I hated every Monday. I truly did, I hated it, and so I sold it. I
Yeah.
built it, scaled
Best
it,
thing ever.
and I took that money and invested back into myself, and I was like, "You know what? I'm going to be the person that does make money from photography. I don't care what anybody says. If photographers can't make money, I'm gonna be the one to do it." So within 4 months, I generated $20,000, which was the most I had ever seen at that point, and I was like,
Mm,
"Holy freaking crap, this is incredible.
yeah.
Oh, like, God
Yeah.
said I can do it. Here I am, I did it." So
Yes.
and,
Yes.
I had it for 16 years. I did incredible. I feel like I was the true American dream. I was
Yeah.
on ABC, CNN, my stuff was on the Ellen Show, I was in the Huffington Post.
Yes.
I had all of
Yes.
these great accolades, like pats on the back, winning awards, everything, and my bank
Yes.
was very reflective of all of my accolades.
Yes, that's
I was
perfect
like,
when it aligns like that because sometimes it's not always that way. Some people are
well,
getting the accolades but not making the money.
I feel like at that point I was living more in my ego than I was in my purpose.
Mm,
When I decided to scale it again, because I love to just test things out, and if it works, it
I
works. If
love that.
it out and do it again. But I
Yes.
opened something called Texas Adventure Elopements. For those of you who don't know, I'm a destination wedding photographer. I do the adventure stuff where I take couples out like on glaciers and marry
Oh,
them.
that's
And
you? I must have been following your pages already because I love to watch those
yeah,
and think how crazy people are. I'm like,
it's
wow,
yeah,
that's crazy, but that's dope. What if I could actually have
it
the
is
nerve to
though.
do something like
It
that?
100% is, yeah.
Yes.
And so I was like, I'm gonna freaking do this again. So I opened up something called Texas Adventure Elopements, and the one thing that I wished I would have learned was how to actually hire people. Because what I ended up doing was hiring the very first person that showed excitement. And she didn't really know much. And I was like, that's how I want it though. Like, I want to be able to
You wanna
train
be
you
able to train you
like
because some
me.
people come with all
Yeah,
the other stuff and you gotta clean their job.
exactly.
Nobody has
I don't
time for
want to retrain
therapy.
you. No.
Yeah, I want to
Mm-mm.
train you, or you
Yes.
really come in already knowing, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. And for the brand that I built, like, you have to be a copy of me. There's no way around it. People are purchasing my brand. They're not.
Right. It's
So,
a
a
franchise.
year into it, Instead of actually working on the business, I was putting out fires from the hires and stuff. And whenever she ended up leaving, she ended up taking 16 years worth of intellectual property with her, on top of what we could actually see online of 66 federally copyrighted infringements. And she was using my own images, my own material, my own copyrights against me, marketing against me in my own market. And so, in order to get the bleeding to stop, whenever you scale businesses, you are going to have employees. You are going to delegate tasks.
Yeah.
When you
Yes.
scale something, you cannot do that on your own. I had to let go of all of my employees in order to afford this federal lawsuit. That sucked because it all came crashing down. I'm running Brit
Yeah.
Nicole and I'm running the Texas Adventure Elopements at this point.
Yeah.
And not be the person to do all this. Like, it's too.
No.
And so, even after the lawsuit, which was just stupid. Oh, stupid, stupid.
So
Even
the laws don't really protect you as much as we think they do.
girl, okay,
I've read
listen.
some of them and I was not impressed.
Mm-mm,
I'm one
no,
of those people who say, shit's gonna happen. You protect yourself as much as you can and always be ready. I guess for me, my thing is hold some of your cards
yes,
and don't put all your cards in one space. And
no, no,
I'm talking about employees. Nobody on your team should know everything.
mm-mm, ever, 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 or have access to everything.
I don't know where I come up with that, but that's just been my thing. I guess I've worked for enough people
Yeah.
to see how it works a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But what I learned through this is I had a very solid contract. So solid. And
Airtight.
at the time, Texas was definitely one of those non-compete states. Like, you absolutely cannot take what I am doing
Someone's
or
stuff.
go to
Yeah.
my locations to do what I am doing. You just can't do it.
Right. That's arbitrary in the laws of Texas.
It
Without
was.
even a contract, it's arbitrarily implied because you're hired.
No, well,
Once you invoke it in the contract.
yes.
Okay.
But now, what I have learned, contracts don't mean jack shit. I'm sorry. Am I allowed to cuss on your thing?
Yeah, you can say it. No, it don't. It don't.
No.
I do them formally to let people know where I stand, only because when I'm ready to cut ties with you, I'm referring to it. Protecting me? No. They're
Yeah.
only, for me, contracts represent if you violate any of these because these are values that are important to me, or if I violate these values that might be important to you, we can cut ties and like no hard feelings supposedly. But as far as me being protected, I got divorced. I know I'm not protected. I went through divorce. I know I'm not protected by the law.
No, it's stupid. What I learned, my lawyer said so brilliantly, contracts are meant for the good people. People who, because if you're a good person,
You're gonna abide by them.
the desire to want to do that. And
Mhm.
people are gonna people. They're gonna do what they want to do.
Yes.
And so that, because of who I am, you're getting a taste of like, okay, Brittany just doesn't stop. She, with
No,
that wild grip of butt,
we
she goes to New
pivot.
York.
We pivot.
Yeah,
It's
like
girl, I'm with you.
I got mad enough that I reached back out to the places where I was featured on, like CNN, Fox News, NBC. I reached out to those reporters and I told them exactly what was happening and
The
how the
story.
government wasn't protecting me. The government was not for me, even though these laws are in
You
place. And so
right.
they plastered me up everywhere. And that led me to being invited to sit
That
at
was
the House
smart.
Administration in DC to tell them my whole story and to help possibly pass this bill to help protect businesses
Yeah.
with the digital world that we're in.
Oh, thank God. How's it going?
Oh, I'd already bought my ticket. I had everything. This was last year. A few days before I was supposed to leave, I get a call and they tell me we decided to go with a male that lives in DC.
This is
Yep.
I'm sorry. This is America we're living in right now. I hate to say it. I'm not being political, but I'm just saying.
This is real life.
Yeah.
It's not political at all. You can look at the facts. If you want movement to happen, you're not going to listen to a female, especially if this female is 5 foot blonde white girl. You're not.
See, I'm 5 foot and I'm not blonde. I'm brown skin and I'm an immigrant. I immigrated to the US 21 years ago. So I got two more for you. But my thing is, we're all in it in the same pot, just at a different reason, sometimes at a little bit of a different level. And Britt, my solution, and one of my best girlfriends and business besties, Deb Holt, we always talk about taking advantage of the advantage, taking like the boat, we partner in areas, and we have so much that God has for us to do later on, that we're like, okay, so you are 5'2", blonde, blue eyes. There are advantages, and there are advantages for me being, brown, black hair, brown eyes, immigrant with an accent and all the things. There's advantages. And then we're just making a 360 advantage point is what we
Mhm.
call it. Us women, especially, and I'm not necessarily I don't even talk about women's empowerment anymore. I talk about women repositioning, because I believe that we are to reposition ourselves and put our crowns on our head and step unaffraidly on the unstoppable CEO. We are to do that, but we have to understand that we do it together, because that's how we really conquer, because we're not here to win. We have to conquer.
Exactly.
This is taking territory. This is not winning an award or some war. This is not even a war. This is taking our territory back and owning our voice. And this is not even protesting against the government. This is strategic moves. Okay. But we're not talking about that today. But I'm just saying, we kind of are, but that's the strategy. Y'all gonna find out when Brit and I tell you later.
But yeah, I mean, it's living in purpose, but being that lion and actually roaring within that
Yes.
and not in the ego aspect of things. That is
Non-negotiable.
what helps people.
Yes. I
So
love
yeah,
it.
that's literally how the
So
unstoppable.
they told you that you weren't going to be it anymore. They had someone else. What
Correct.
happened next? I don't want to
I
leave
hung
that
up the
hanging.
phone and I cried and I got angry and I hit things. Like there were so many rugs that were pulled up underneath me within those 3 years that
Mm,
whatever
mm,
happens, happens. Like
mm,
I can't make my own plans. And whatever happens is going to happen, and it is going to be for me to happen. And that, I'm actually going to say something on that.
say
When
it.
you are in the junk of it, when I was in the lawsuit, even 3 years afterwards, I could not function. My brain fog, I had trauma brain. My email would go off on my phone, and it felt like a bear was mauling me every single day.
Mm,
I couldn't be the hustler that I was used to. I couldn't build my
mm,
business. I couldn't make money at this point. Nothing allowed me to do that. But
mm,
once I started healing myself and getting my nervous system back on track, allowing that openness to come back and trust people and trust myself with money,
mm-hmm.
a lot of guilt with all of that.
Yes, you feel like it's you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it clicked in me of had I not gone through that, I really would not be living in my purpose. I
Mm,
would still be chasing the accolades. I would still be chasing the money. I would still be chasing what I thought was the American dream. But inside, I wasn't happy. And
mm,
I wasn't living out my purpose of helping other people. There was no help in other people except for taking photos for them.
right.
So he had to
Wow.
get my attention some way. And in order to get my attention, it had to be fully taken away. And my lesson was learned on that the hard way.
It's so hard to think about it, but I hope someone listening gets it, because you were slow. You slow down. You were put in slow motion. You were put in halt space, but you did not stop.
I
You let
tried
it.
to keep going. I think well, not think, I know. I know that's what led to burnout because just like what you were saying, I am being forced to slow down. I am being forced
Mm,
to
to
just
rethink
rest.
everything.
Yeah, and just to even just heal my brain in the ways that destroyed me during that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the hustle culture that's over here telling you if you're not up by 4 a.m. doing your workout and then taking this shake and then doing all this stuff, what are
Mm-hmm.
you actually doing with your life?
Right.
It I couldn't function because of the whole hustle culture. And if I didn't allow myself the grace to just rest and know I'm not gonna die, my family's gonna be fine, my house
Yes.
is taken away, just be for a minute.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Let's talk about this for a moment, because many of us deal with it in different levels. But this, to me, this is the ultimate. Your story very much to me sounds like a Selena story. You know, Selena, the singer.
Yes.
Have you seen the movie? That's sort of a Selena story. And Selena lost her life, right? It was that I've watched it a few times and I was very young when that came out. But let's be real about that moment for many entrepreneurs, that betrayal sometimes from the inside of your own circle. It might not be an employee, it might be a business partner, it might be your even your own romantic partner or your best friend or family member also coming in there with the financial loss. What did that moment expose about your boundaries, your systems, and even your relationship with success?
That's a beautiful question. What it did for me was it made me terrified of everything in that moment. It really did. It made me scared to trust anybody.
Mm,
Like my husband right now, he is my best friend. He knows all of the yuck of me and he still loves me. He still supports me. We will everything I ever prayed for.
oh
Now,
my God.
it scared me enough to let him in on all of the stuff that I was feeling because I felt like I'm not supposed to feel that way. I did it to myself. I
You
chose
feel
this.
like, yeah, you earned
I
it.
was the one that
The blame.
the checks out to the lawyer. I was the one that chose to hire her. And
Mm,
so I carried so much guilt and shame and I never let anybody in because I didn't want to disappoint someone else when I couldn't even handle the disappointment in myself.
myself.
So no, I was not okay. For 3 years I was not okay. I didn't trust anybody. I didn't trust myself with money. One of the weird things that I didn't realize until a few months ago, which I think that you're absolutely going to love this realization.
Mhm.
My bank account still had money in it. I was still generating some things, but it wasn't on the scale of what I was used to. It
Yeah.
wasn't on the scale of putting my kids back in private school. We had to take them out. It was a whole lifestyle change.
Mhm.
And I didn't pay myself for 3 years. And here I am putting all of this pressure on myself, feeling bad of you're not contributing, Brittany. You used to be able to do this. You used to be able to take your kids to Disney World. You used to be able to buy all these Christmas presents. Look at you now. You can't even pay yourself. And it was like at the beginning of this year, I say a couple of months ago, here we are almost into the new year again, but it it dawned on me, I didn't pay myself because I didn't think I was worthy enough for the paycheck.
Ooh, you were still punishing yourself.
I was still punishing myself.
Whoa, that's a mic drop. How many of us actually do that?
I bet a lot of us do that, and we just don't have the realization of what we're actually doing.
Doing the why behind it. I was watching a movie. No, I'm watching series All Is Fair with Kim Kardashian and Kim, Niecy Nash, and two other beautiful. I think Kate Hudson. No, not Kate Hudson, but it's a beautiful story. But the guy was in there saying, "I have to." He's a sex addict. I have to figure out why, and it's always the why. You're not just doing it for no reason. And if you can get to the why and you found that it was self-worth, and I promise you, I talk about entrepreneurship and I always talk about imposter syndrome along with it, but more than anything I feel we deal with is inadequacies and a lack of, it's not even confidence is not lacking in an entrepreneur, really. We're some of the most confident, brave, bold people I know, but it's self-worth.
Yep. And I actually don't feel like I experienced that at all in my life. I've always been the person that just didn't give a crap and just did it just to see what
Right.
it if it
What
worked
would
out.
ha
If it didn't, it didn't. And but this
It's
particular
funny,
thing,
I'm sitting the exact same way. I got my feet curled up. Yes.
I need to.
I curled up a few minutes ago. I don't know if you caught it, but that's so funny. But that is, yeah, we're digging in it. You made that bold move. You let everything go quiet. No clients, no pretending, no rebuilding out of pride. That takes a level of restraint and maturity. What did that stillness reveal?
My true self.
Mm,
I am to my core.
So now you're building the Unstoppable SheEO.
Yep,
Tell
that's
us
where
about that.
everything
Tell
came
us
from.
about her and tell us about that entity.
So the Unstoppable SheEO is made specifically for female entrepreneurs, which by the way, only reason I have it set for female entrepreneurs is because in the next few years, I want to see that shift happening of more successful female entrepreneurs coming out and living their life and showing their children they can build this legacy type thing. But with the stuff that I went through, not just with the previous divorce. Oh, yeah. You mentioned in the notes leading up to this, he did end up taking his life. And it wasn't a
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask whether it was him or was it
no,
the
it
the
was definitely him.
your employee? Because I mentioned it, but I
Oh,
didn't say
right. Well, it was him. But coming out of something like that gives you brain fog. It gives you decision paralysis. It
that's
gives you trauma.
trauma.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
the same exact thing that happened with me with the lawsuit, the trauma brain,
It
especially
just
I'm not
all it did was resurface that again,
yeah,
puts you in that
it's
space
so crazy.
and intensified, yeah.
Did, and I'm undiagnosed ADHD, like, girl, I check those boxes
It's just
off.
like, no.
And so, like, whenever you have that type of squirrel brain already, because you deal with depression and anxiety on top of that, you know what the big picture is, you know where you want to be, but you have a hard time putting those in linear form because our brains, it's like spider webs, right? We have like the biggest idea of like, I know what I want to do and I'm going to freaking do it. And we have those ideas popping off, popping off, popping off. And
Yeah,
grab it, bring it down, and then we forget about this one over here. Oh, we bring it down over here. And we can't make solid decisions to actually initiate any tasks to follow through to make it come to life.
right,
End
right.
up thinking is we're like, nobody liked this. I couldn't actually finish that. So I'm going to come up with another idea and do the whole process all over again.
Again, until you never get anywhere.
That's squirrel brain. That's trauma brain. That's decision paralysis. It's just brain fog. And
Mhm,
what the Unstoppable SheEO does is my purpose in life is to reach down into that hole that they're sitting in where they
mm,
feel stuck and paralyzed,
mm,
grab 'em by the hand, help them bring up and get that root cause. Why are you feeling like this? Let's get your nervous system back in check. And then let's build systems behind of how your brain actually works instead of
mhm.
trying to fit into linear thinking systems that don't work.
Yes, yes.
So
Wow, wow.
that's what we do.
So the linear system, because I just got off a call a couple hours ago with one of my clients who says my ADHD brain, and of course women, wouldn't let me focus like da 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 da.
Mhm.
And so I'm glad she was aware. Self-awareness is one of the biggest things I believe when you're aware. And so working with her, I have a few ideas. Walk us through what that linear approach would look like for some of those women that you would work with in that space.
Yeah, so inside the community that we have,
I
it's
think you're talking to
actually
me because I swear I got ADHD brain. I'm sorry to start muttering.
I mean, it's not uncommon, especially like if you're a creative entrepreneur. We are definitely people who are more. If you're on the creative side, chances are you're a squirrel spider brain. But how I have it set up in the community is I'm going to start you off with week 1 and it is going to be I need you to track your energy. You have to. You 100% have to track your energy. I have what I would suggest to your listeners right now is since you don't have access to like the sheet that I have, but for 3 days, the second that you get up, I know that when we want to do something, we can power through and hyper focus on this. But the moment that you get up, write down 6 a.m. What is your energy like? Is it just getting ready? Don't talk to me type energy? Write that down. Write down what feels good, what doesn't. And you're going to do that throughout the whole entire day until you go to sleep for 3 days. Reason I have it set like that is because at the end of 3 days, you're going to realize, my gosh, I've been taking client calls at 9 a.m. and it drains me. By the time 12 o'clock hits, I want to just punch myself in the face and I want to be done with it. Like, get me out of here. But what you're ending up doing is you're not realizing that you are just forcing yourself to work in energies that are not aligning with your brain. I can't hear you.
I mute myself. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I've seen that, and I've been saying this to one of my colleagues. I said, "You're not crazy.
Mm-mm.
You're this is just not working for you. You're trying to be like everyone else that's quote unquote a traditional schedule, but that's not who you are." And I tell
Exactly.
people I'm not traditional either. I get my burst. I get better later in the day.
Yeah. It's so crazy. And the second that you actually start realizing where your energies are, you have your admin energy, you have your peopling energy, you have your content creation energy. And
Mhm.
the Second, one of the other things that I want your listeners to really hone in on is if you're sitting, let's just say your 9 to, I don't know, 11 is your admin time, and you're over here typing up your emails, the last thing you want to do is pick up your phone and actually email some or text someone back, take a phone call, whatever. You
'Cause you're
cannot
gone.
take whatever you were doing within that energy that felt good and move it to a different type of energy, because what's going to happen is our brains are going to spiral. It's going to feel
Yes.
like you cannot go back to the task that you were
Essentially what
doing.
you
You
and
can't
it
finish it.
it's not even interesting anymore 'cause the
No,
sparks went, the fire went, and
that's why you can't complete your tasks. That's why you
I
can't do the
love
needle moving things.
exactly. I love what you did is did the assessment first.
Yes.
I what I do, I did it a little bit differently, but it makes sense why we do it because if you don't know, once you have clarity about what you want, now my inventory looks like, okay, so are you doing, does what you do every day add up to bring you to closer to what you say you want? I ask that question on the podcast all the time, and that's where the inventory comes in. I love that piece. And then the other thing is I've created a sprint because just doing these 30-minute sprints that you dedicate to start off staying in that in your zone. I call it your zone of genius, but I said it's not your genius because it's something you love to do. It's also the things you don't like to do, but
Hmm.
you're a genius at it at this particular time of the week, the day, or it might just be that you committed. I might be doing it a little bit weird. I don't know if that works, but I guess I was not thinking about ADHD people. I was just thinking about most people because a lot of people say, "How do you get all that stuff done? How do you?" Well, I have time blocks. I it's a non-negotiable that I'm going to get up at 4 in the morning and I'm going to work out by 4:30. I'm working out. I'm in my living room. I got all my equipment and I work out. If I don't do that, I'm going to be a big whale. Period. And I also decide what I'm going to eat on Sundays. And when I don't, I'm not maintaining my weight. I start seeing the pounds go up. If I do that for a week to 2 weeks where I didn't organize my meals, I don't want those results, right? I want to stay in shape and be healthy because I also manage the autoimmune disease we talked about earlier. So I have to eat right. Otherwise, I'm having stomach issues, my skin's breaking out, all kinds of weird stuff. Do I want those results? No. So I have to discipline and organize myself. But I'll tell you, there's sometimes I'm not writing any content. I can't do it. Sometimes I can't do it for a week. And if I can't do it for a week, it's okay because I'm disciplined that I have enough stacked. So I can say I'm taking a week off of content creation. I'm taking 5 days off of recording because it's necessary, but I plan it ahead of time knowing that I need it so I can stay fresh on what I love to do. So I took off like every year, I have a month where I don't record any podcast. And it's a must. It's already scheduled out. No matter what, it's blocked out. Now going into 2026, I am doing 1 week per month where I'm not recording podcast. I love it, but in order to keep my fire going, I must make sure that I'm showing up. If I find myself saying, but I never have a guest that I don't. But when you feel tired after, it's like, man, I really need a rest. Oh, I don't want to record today. That's it. You shouldn't wait till then. You already know. So I just love that you are working with women that way because honestly, Nicole, I find that that is the biggest reason why most women don't have the freedom they want. They have the vision, they have the ideas, they have the creativity, but they can't focus.
Well, it's not just a focus thing either. It's
Tell
a
me.
feeling guilty of feeling like a failure over and over and over because they're
Mm,
trying to fit a whole entire hustle culture within 2 hours. And the
mhm,
reason why you already know your boundaries, which is
mhm,
brilliant. You know your boundaries. You know for a fact if I'm doing this week, I'm already going to be tired and need to re-energize.
mhm.
People like with our brains, I was going to say people like us, but people with our brains, whenever we hyper focus on something, we are able to get tasks done for a whole month straight within those 4 hours. And
Yes.
that we're done with that, our bodies are like, holy crap, I just stayed up for the whole month, is what it feels like. And you're like,
Yes.
I cannot function today. And here's where the hard part is for people who are not realizing that this is okay. You got your work done. Everything is fine. Go stop forcing yourself because you think that that is what you are supposed to do. What you are supposed to do is be who you are created to be and honor that and do
Yes,
it that way. Just create the systems that work around your brain instead of you
exactly.
trying to fit into everybody else's system.
Absolutely. I love that permission granted you all. I hope you guys got that. That is one of the biggest tools. And I wonder to myself, sometimes I look at everybody else around me. I'm the only one that's in my inner circles that has an autoimmune disease. And I know you do too. I wonder if that forced me to become the person that understands my energies and how I flow. And I say it's also the gift to my work as well. As most people that I know with an autoimmune disease say, I can't go. I, if I go, I'm just going to be really tired after. And I got to go to work on Monday. Me, I'm like, how do I get there and go to work on Monday?
Mhm.
I figure out what that formula is. I try some things before. I'm like, that didn't go so well. I was like sick. I was coughing and sneezing on Monday as if I had the flu, but I didn't. It's just my body is worn out, right? And it starts doing funky stuff. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to do it that way. I just say, try that, didn't work. What's next? Try that, didn't work. What's next? So it's the same thing with you. Try, if you follow those steps that Britain just gave you guys, you will see a big change. I mean, just give yourself permission to even think about what it is looks like, where my energy goes. Do the audit. Do the audit. I promise you, you're going to get information about yourself. You'll realize, oh my gosh. And everybody comes for social media scrolling. But let's face it, scrolling social media is a symptom of avoidance. It really is. It's soothing. It's a way of regulating, as a
It
therapist
really
would say.
is.
It's regulating. Oh, it's not scrolling social media is not the issue because when there was no social media, people were doing something else. You want to know? They were just sitting around at home chatting with their friends, getting on calls and talking with people for hours and not doing the thing that they're most passionate about or want to see grow in their life, the money they want to make. So there will always be a vice. It's just a social media is very easy. We grab a phone and the world of distraction that helps us regulate and be about someone else's problems, accept our responsibilities is easy. So
With
let's not say
dopamine hits.
social media is the problem because social media is a issue, but guess who's not there scrolling all the time? Me. And I'm not a superhero, but I can stay distracted just in my thoughts. I can lay on that think for 5 hours, never do anything if I want to.
Seriously, like before I got my body regulated, it was a constant. Like I had probably 70 open tabs in my head. And I kid you not, I was able, I for sure, I still kind of do this. I would drive, like even to Dallas. Dallas is 6 hours away from me.
My gosh,
No
yes.
radio on, going
No.
there or coming back because I can play my own stations. I had my own podcast going in my head. Don't know,
Fun.
couldn't tell you who it was or what they were talking about, but I was enjoying it. They were just there
Saying a lot
yapping.
of stuff.
I don't know. It was my own dopamine hits. So I'm
Word
just like,
to
okay.
goodness. You sound just like me on that one. I'm just driving and no music, nothing. I don't need anything. I'd be at home, no television on, no music playing, no podcast, nothing. And I'm just hours of me just thinking. And a lot of times I have to be like doing stuff, prepping, whatever I'm doing, and my brain is going out. And someone's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. What you did all morning? Nothing. But it's not true. I have built Rome and decentralized Rome in that 1 or 2 hours.
Hilarious. I built and decentralized it. I feel that.
You felt that.
Yes, I
Tell
feel
yeah.
that.
It's so much funny. Let's talk about this. It takes a level of restraint and maturity to come to full circle and say, my journey has brought me to who I am now. And the way you're working with women and helping women right now. Tell us what you would say has been your it factor through all of it to this moment.
What do you mean?
Like, what is the it? What's the Brit Nicole? What's that thing? What's that zing that makes it for you? Because I feel like a lot of us we have the negatives that play in the backdrop and we have the positive that plays in the backdrop. And the ones that's positive is the one that I call the the thing, the youism. You know what I'm saying? That always shows up and bring you back that helps you pivot. What is it?
I think it's knowing that I did it before so I can keep going and doing it again.
Mm.
like just testing, like we talked about earlier, you and I are very similar, and we need to experiment in order to understand what we're doing. And we're the type of people that when we experiment, if it doesn't go the way that we needed it to go, we're just simply going to pivot. And if it
Yeah.
takes us longer, it takes us longer. That it is not a race as
Mm.
to who's going to get at the top. It's
Mhm.
truly just a journey, what you call a marathon that you're just going to continue
Mhm.
get stronger at and bypass certain points. Nobody cares where you're at. And if nobody cares where you're at in the race, why should you hold yourself to that standard too?
So
Like,
whatever's
too hard on
plain.
ourselves.
Yes. People think a lot of things that they're not even thinking. I tell people, they
Yeah.
don't think about you that much.
No, they don't. Guarantee you they don't.
People do not think about you as much as you think they do. You're sitting here thinking about, she said that to you and walked off, forgot it, forgot you, went on with her life saying mean stuff about somebody else. You don't matter that much for her. You were just her thing right there. You can't let her words and her matter that much to you. That is a choice. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I agree. You said that was your it factor, and that is my it factor. I know nothing else. It didn't work. Okay. I was
And
sitting in the doctor's
yeah.
office and them telling me your embryos, they're you're I'm like, okay, so what's next? They're giving me a box of tissue and I'm like, what's next?
Mhm.
And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yes. What's next? I already thought about this 100 times, and we have different phases in this journey of me getting a baby, getting pregnant, and having a baby. And okay, this is one. This is a roadblock. Didn't work. So what's next? I am not paying you to sit here and help me cry. Cry about what? I don't control what happens with my body. I, uh, I just know these options are before me. What's next? And I really do look at life that way. But I saw something in your story that reminds me a little bit about mine, is where sometimes it is a pause. And if anyone's listening to us right now, I want you guys to hear the pause. I had a guest on earlier today, and she was saying that life will throw like a grain of sand at you. Then you'll get like a fingertip of sand. Then you'll get a pebble. Then you'll get a rock. Then you'll get a stone. And then here comes a boulder, right? Tell us about this. You obviously had the boulder. Do you feel like at any point in your journey, she's laughing so hard, guys, any point in your journey, you didn't pay attention to this grain of sand and then the fingertip of sand and then it just became a boulder? Tell us about that. And how did you learn
Like,
to pivot?
I don't feel like it was a boulder. I feel like it was a whole landslide that
I
happened.
agree. I
Full of
agree.
boulders.
Right.
The pivot that happened is I got buried underneath this whole landslide with mud and all the rocks, all the
Gosh, she
boulders and
called herself.
everything. And whenever that landslide happened, like it took out the highway that I was driving on. I didn't know
Mm.
any other way to get to my destination because I've driven
Whoa.
this highway back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I knew it like the back of my hand. And the second that that was gone, how the crap am I supposed to get back up on this highway when I'm all the way down in the ravine in the valley, buried up underneath this? I don't know how to climb. I don't know how to get back up here. I'm so buried in this that I can't even see daylight. But what I didn't realize is all I had to do was just start moving those rocks.
Mm.
Just start moving the rocks.
Little by
Don't
little.
just lay there and say, "Oh my gosh, I just got ran over by this landslide and these boulders." Like,
You're breathing. That's
start
what I always say. Oh,
moving.
I'm breathing. Yeah, I'm breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
I gotta
so
move.
I had to dig myself out. And you know what? No,
Wash yourself off.
I did not dig myself out. I allowed people
Mm.
to help dig me out, which that was a big deal for me. Can't do it myself. I had to allow other people to help dig me out and allow them to help me find.
He's mad. No, that's okay. We got him. You can keep going.
Oh man, so
We
sorry.
we said no.
But I just had to repivot what road I was going on. I could still get to the same destination. I just had to rebuild and take a different way.
Key things she said. I had to, number one, realize I was breathing, start to help myself by getting up, let people help me to get out, and just bit by bit. Because when you go through something that traumatic or anything that's traumatic, you have to get help. You cannot do it alone. And that's the one thing entrepreneurs don't know. One of the things I'm speaking to entrepreneurs about is outsourcing tasks that you can do, but they're very redundant and it sucks up time. I don't care what budget you have, figure out a space to outsource so you can stay in your zone of genius, which is creating and providing transformation. I did it. I got laid off and didn't have money coming in. People talk to me about scale. I'm like, I wasn't even doing business. I was still depending on the 9 to 5. And I took whatever money I had. And the best decision I made was say, you got a lot more time than you usually do. But if you got a couple people that can do some task, and that's how, in less than 4 months, I got everything launched to be able to scale. And that's only because I allowed people to help me. And I didn't look at the money and think, I don't have enough money. I thought, I have enough money right now to get started. And one of the messages I have right now for anybody in the entrepreneurial space or anywhere in life, you only need to be able to see where you're going to put your next step, where your next step will go. As long as you can see that and you could take that step, I promise you'll see the next step. Because when there's fog, right? Or just even think about Brittany being under that rubble of the landslide she talked about. She had every gunk everywhere in her hair. Her eyes were full of the dirt and the mud and everything. Her lips, her hands was probably stuck on the rocks. She had to remove it. She had to first she had to tell herself, I'm not dead. Like, oh, I'm not dreaming. This is real. You have to first tell yourself, this is real. I'm not dreaming. And I'm still breathing, right? I have this picture of you in this rubble that you just described for us. And once you realize that, you had a decision to say, you know what, just I'm not going to get up. I'm just going to stay here. And then your nose will get clogged. Then you won't be able to breathe and the rocks will start falling even more. But you had to make that decision to move and you didn't know what was going to happen. You don't even know where you were because everything is covering you. You just have to be able to make one more move. One more. And you have to will your mind to make one move. And if you're thinking about you in that rubble, it was probably move your feet to see if that's got a space to move, then the other foot, then the other hand, then to finally will your body. That's how it works in this world. It's not having, a lot of us want full clarity. We want to understand. We want to know the right coach will show up. We want to know the right staff will show up. Listen, man, that was the most horrible thing that happened to Brittany. But Brittany, you know what you did? You hired somebody. It was shame on her for what she did. Not shame on you for trusting her. Not at all. I mean, you already know this, but I'm saying this out loud to anyone's listening. The question I'm going to ask you, what could you have done differently so that someone who's learning from you can learn about it? Is there something you thought you could have done differently in the moment? Or was it something later that you caught that you didn't take heed to?
That's a good question. What I probably would have done differently was learn how to hire in the first place, not to get ahead of myself. Because again, we have this habit of seeing the big picture and we want that big picture right now. We don't want to learn the lessons that get us to the big picture. We want that big picture right now. That I should have listened to my gut. I should have
Your gut. That's it.
my intuition.
What was your gut saying at the time?
Within a month, definitely my intuition was like, let her go. But here's my justification. If I let her go, how am I going to scale this? I can't do this alone because now I'm already in it.
There's other people out there. But
Yeah.
You know what? Do you see the parallel between that how you dealt with that situation and how you did with the first husband?
For sure. Yes.
And
I
so
still
you
did it anyways.
don't, and I'll say this to you, and I say this to everyone. You don't know what you don't know until you know it, right? So I believe that you did everything you know how to do. I don't think there's any blame. I think that you did everything you know how to do. Because there's this thing that I was told years ago and I live with it. You cannot make decisions above your knowledge. The knowledge you had when you were hiring her, that's it. You were at 100%. You showed up, you did the contract, you did everything. I would go with 1 month later when your energy was off. That's the part we are not trained to trust. That's the only thing I can say every time. And I guess you can say it. It's when you have this, you know that something's off, something's not right, and you need to go in a different direction. We don't know how to let go.
No, because if we let go, then that's admitting that we did something wrong.
But it ain't. You didn't. That's why
Exactly.
I said you didn't do anything wrong, because you didn't have the information this month that you had last month. Now you
Mhm.
have the knowledge. You're accountable for what you know now. You've seen her in action. Now you can do something. And that's all I keep holding myself. I'm like, okay, first of all, Alisa, to be able to let go of the pressure is you didn't know what you didn't know. You didn't have this knowledge. But what you do know, you do have this knowledge now and you're accountable for
Right.
it. Since
Right.
he is yelling at you in this relationship, you either stay with him or you let him go.
Bingo.
If she's just something's off with her energy, trust me, you don't have to prove that something is off. You just find a way to reduce your interaction with her, which is outside your business. Because you know what?
Mhm.
I'm making a pivot. And sometimes it's just hiring another employee that will catch them doing the nonsense they're doing. Just dividing the give her. I've done it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've done it. I hired 2 people for the same position. Y'all
Yeah,
have it
well, I
out.
mean, that's fine. That's
Only one of y'all are gonna stay eventually, because I'm not gonna pay 2 people, but I'm gonna have both of you. And people show up differently when they know they don't have ownership of the territory that you're entrusting them with. So it's just different methods, but that's of course, I only have the knowledge now. Young Alisa, you know how many people duplicated my language, my literacy center and my mom's preschool because we trusted them? They went and duplicated it 100% from the inside. They were doing it while they were inside with us, building it, planning it, and doing it. And you know
mean,
what? We still trumped. They didn't survive. They didn't survive because so many people think they know the secret. That's why I asked you, what's your magic formula? Because you are back and you're going to be greater than any of the other businesses you've ever built.
I love that.
Brittany,
That's so sweet.
I know
Thank
you will, because the level of clarity and freedom and knowledge you have, you're not coming from scratch. You're building on all the expertise that you built. Let's do flip the script. I know it's getting late where you're at. I have to ask you, what mindset shift changed everything from you after those collapses?
forgiveness and grace on myself.
Ooh, I love it. You work with women who have ADHD, trauma brain, fog brain, creative overload. Why do traditional business systems fail them?
Because 80% of business systems are meant for linear thinkers.
Mm,
If you if you are somebody who doesn't understand I'm actually a spiderweb thinker instead of a linear thinker, I probably shouldn't hire that business coach that is a linear thinker, or I should not
facts.
purchase that course or enter into that classroom with linear thinkers because it's going to make you feel like a failure when in reality, you just haven't found the systems that are working for your brain or the people who allow you to say it's okay to work with your brain.
That's deep. What is the Unstoppable SheEO really beyond the name?
It is definitely about women who have been through it, but they are still climbing out of that rubble and building that road back to where they needed to go. They
Grace,
just
grit,
need a
and
little help
grime.
in that road.
Yes. Oh my God. What does success mean to you now, Britt?
Ooh, if you would have asked me that question 3 years ago, it would have been completely different.
Show us how it's different.
Yeah, so success then to me was how much money was in my bank account, where my face was at, who all was patting me on the back.
Mm.
Success now to me is living with living in happiness without an agenda.
Whoa. Whoa. Without an agenda? What do you mean? What are we supposed to build? You know, I got to build Rome in my brain and demolish it before the end of the day.
Well,
What would that Wow.
my agenda was again, how much money can I make? What can I do with this? What can I do for me, 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 me? But
Mm,
now the agenda needs to be a clean slate of the happiness that I need to strive for and the joy that I want in my life does not need to be about how big I can scale something, how much money is in my account, how many
mm,
people for me, where is my face? Because if I'm not happy right now without the agenda, I'm not going to be happy with the things that I build and the stuff that comes with it. I just want to be happy. I want to live joyful.
yes. Wow. What's your next big thing and what mindset does require for you to achieve it? What I
Mhm.
guess I'm asking you, what's on your agenda?
Well, that's a different type of agenda, but
I know,
uh,
I know.
I see myself on stages. I know this may sound, you know what? No, I'm not even going to justify
Judge
this.
it. Nope, don't need to.
When
Not here.
I saw the vision of the Unstoppable SheEO. I was standing on this stage and I could see so many women out there. Just I can't see their faces, but I can see like their energy
You're
type thing.
feeling their
Dark.
energies.
It's a dark.
Yeah.
It's not like a black color, but it's not colorful. And when
Mm,
I started speaking life to them, I vividly saw these chains breaking off of their wrist and like this colorful burst of like auroras just coming
light.
out of them. And
Yeah.
it's like I I helped give them permission to live their
There.
true self instead of following somebody else's footsteps. And so the next thing that I want for myself is I would love to be on stages more, to be
Mm.
talking in corporations or just even at summits,
No,
workshops.
for women.
I want to write a book. I would love to have a Netflix series of everything that happened.
I
I
know. It's
of what I would
done.
call it
Netflix series, here we come.
I would
Done.
call it, I don't something along the lines of Real Business in America or Small Businesses in America.
Right,
Life.
right. The vision, make it clear, and you wake up every day. I'm over here speaking it for you. When you're ready, call me because it's coming.
Mhm.
Don't you lose sight of that vision, because there's a story that needs to be told that will incite that's probably where you're reaching those women.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm believing with you. I'm rooting for you. You've done it before and you'll do it again. And I say you've done it before because you already done it. It's already been
Mhm.
done. And now you're doing it again. Not if you'll do it again, you are doing it again. I'm believing right with you. What kind of mindset is going to be required for that?
A belief in myself that it's not
Out of
something
the
stupid. Yeah. Like I can't worry about what other people are going to think about it. And I need to keep it like close to my heart to where outsiders aren't going to be speaking their fear of what they would or wouldn't do. And so I
start
have to
writing
keep
it.
it Brittany.
Start writing the script. Every time you have a set a block and write.
I
Start
love that.
creating it. Just start writing it. That's what you need to do, is start writing it. Create a block somewhere in your week or whatever it looks like in your month and start writing it.
Girl, thank you.
Permission granted. I'm ready to see it, and I know 1,000 women who would want to see it already. So
Oh, yay. Okay.
permission granted. No, seriously, because these are things that are not talked about. As a matter of fact, you can. I'm not even talking because that's proprietary. We keeping secrets from you all. I can't tell her while we're on this microphone. Brit Nicole, I am going to give you 90 seconds or 60 to 90 seconds, whichever you prefer. So it's just you and the listeners and viewers to give them a mindset bite to go as if it were your last few minutes. I'm going to step away from the cam and the mic. It's all you. Here you go, sis.
Hey, I need you to come back. I don't understand exactly what you wanted from me.
Here I am. Here I am. No, it's mindset bites to go. It's for you to speak to them directly as if it was your last time to speak to the world. What would you say? Just tell them about. Yes, it's the whole world. This is your mic. This is your time. Go for it.
You have those, okay. You have those passions within your heart for a reason. It's not stupid. If you feel that tug and that pull to do something with your life, no matter what it is, if somebody else says, "Oh, I wouldn't do it that way," or "I wouldn't do this," one, it's not their calling, and two, it's not their life. You have that passion and purpose inside of you for a reason, because you were created for that, and no one else on the face of this planet is able to fulfill that calling and that passion except for you. Only you. Nobody can do it like you. You are meant to be here, and you are meant to do it.
Wow. Listen, she is ready to be booked. You can go to BritNicole.com. She's ready to come to a stage near you. Listen, Brit, it's been so phenomenal. Can you tell our listeners and viewers how to connect with you, your favorite way to connect with you? And of course, we always have all of it in the description. And I know you have a special freebie as well.
I do. So you can find me on Instagram. It's going to be its.brit, B-R-I-T, .Nicole, Nicole, or my website, just like you said, britnicole.com. But you will mainly find me within the Unstoppable SheEO community. That is my jam. I love those people in there. It makes me so happy.
I love it. Do you guys have a school community as well, or no?
It's not on school. It's actually, everything is function to their go high level, but it's the
Yes.
community
Okay.
and then the courses inside that community.
Awesome. I will check it out. We'll check it out. Whoa. And tell us about the free business assessment that you bring for us. No, he's fine. You
It's
can
still
speak. Yeah, you can go now. Yes, you can tell them now. We know how to cut it out. So go ahead. So tell us about the free business assessment.
So, which one did I send you?
It's the one that's Flowdesk. That
Oh, okay. So the Build It Scared.
yes.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
So Britt, tell us about the free business assessment that you brought for us.
Yeah. So it is a Build It Scared journal. Well, I say
Whoa.
like it's one of those things where I try to get like to the root cause of why you are just scared to make a move or scared to just take the first step
Mm,
and figure out why you're scared, what is holding you back, why do you have decision paralysis, and then the steps that you need to take to actually just take exactly what you said earlier, that one step. All you need to do is that one step. Just got to show you
yes.
there.
So build it scared. The first step into building a business that works for your mind and not against it is what you call it. Oh my goodness. This conversation is absolutely a reminder that resilience isn't loud, it's strategic, it's intentional, and sometimes it looks like rebuilding smarter and not harder. Britt, thank you so much for your transparency, your leadership, and for building spaces where women don't just have to break themselves to succeed, but they get to own it like a Shiro. The
You're right.
Unstoppable SheEO is in the building. Thank you so much for being here. And
I
to our
appreciate you.
listeners, yes, thank you so much. And to our listeners, thanks for listening. Please share this with a woman that you know is unstoppable, but she's hiding under the rubbles. Let's get her out. Keep mastering your mindset. Think, speak, do become, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye now. Perfect. 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 Don't worry. We can edit everything. We can
Perfect.
edit everything. Nice
Cool.
stuff. Yeah. There's ways how to they know